So today a lot of people posted images on the internet depicting the Prophet Muhammad of Islam. And these people did this to protest attempts to censor freedom of expression involving the drawing of the Prophet Muhammad. And if that is what this is all about, then of course I do wholeheartedly support what these people are doing. Because in the end, freedom of speech is something that we need to protect to the best of our ability. There can be no compromise on freedom of speech. There cannot be forms of expression of personal opinions that must be censored and silenced for fear of offending people. So if somebody simply posted an image of the Prophet Muhammad on the internet to lodge this protest, then I am 100% behind such a person and I support them wholeheartedly. There's no equivocation there whatsoever. But there are of course some people who took this opportunity today to produce material that was deliberately designed to be as repulsive, as disgusting and as offensive as humanly possible. Not just to the Prophet Muhammad himself, but to Islam as an ideology and most importantly towards the whole Muslim community. Have these people got the right to do this? Of course they do. And do I support the right of people to do this? Of course I do. There can again be no equivocation there. People have every right in the world to produce such material and to display it and to express their opinions about the Prophet of Islam itself, and of people who are adherents of that faith. Of course they do. And there can be no misunderstanding here. But there are some people who think that holding that position must therefore automatically mean that you also support wholeheartedly the content of what is being produced. And that is of course dribbling nonsense. I can look at such material and find it offensive and find it repulsive and insulting, and I will express my opinion. I will use my freedom of speech to express my opinion that I find such material revolting and that I find such attitudes towards human beings disgusting. And I will not hold back expressing that opinion. And then of course there are the people who feel that there is some sort of a moral inherent obligation to speak out as strongly as possible against such attempts to censor people. That I will agree with. But that feel that in order to do so, they must therefore present themselves as being as abrasive as possible and to pour scorn and contempt over anybody who is even indirectly aligned with any sort of Islamic tradition, faith, or who simply is a Muslim. And that of course is something that I have been speaking out against for a long time now. I have done so on many occasions in the past, but I've been especially vocal in the last few weeks, as you will have observed. And of course I have had numerous people telling me every time I open my mouth and I tell people that I will approach every individual Muslim on an individual basis and I will decide what sort of a person I am dealing with based on what happens when they open their mouths and they start talking to me, when they engage with me. That's when I decide who I'm dealing with and what I'm dealing with. And that is what I will base my opinion on. I will not base my opinion of a person on the fact that they are a Muslim, and I will not treat a person disrespectfully just because they are a Muslim. I will reserve that right for when a person proves to me in what they say that they do not deserve my respect. But that is a decision that I will make on an individual basis and not on the basis of knowing that a person happens to be a Muslim. I have made this abundantly clear in the past, but there are some people who feel the need to point out to me over and over again how evil they believe Islam is. Every time I say something like this, they point out what is wrong with Islam. And it therefore is only natural then that I must conclude on the basis of those responses to what I'm saying that there are some people who feel that it is necessary to treat every Muslim by default with contempt. Let's just for a moment explore where it would take us if we did so. If we treated every Muslim with contempt and we poured scorn on them and we ridiculed them, we laughed at them, and we basically just, insulted them on every possible occasion. Is this what we need to do in order to assert our freedom of expression? Then let's do that. Let's do that. Let's assert our sacred freedom of expression by pouring scorn and insults over every Muslim whenever we meet one. So when we look at the news today and we see pictures of a woman being buried up to her shoulders and being stoned to death for, say, adultery or whatnot, let's remember, people, that that woman is a Muslim and that she therefore deserves nothing but our ridicule and contempt. Shall we? Let's look at a 16-year-old girl who is about to be hanged in Tehran and whose only hope that's left to her is the hope that Allah might be a bit more merciful to her than her tormentors are, but who is a devout Muslim until the trapdoor opens beneath her feet. Let's laugh at her. Let's just joke about that. Let's just pour every bit of contempt that we can muster over such a stupid, ignorant, blind Muslim. Let's laugh at the people who today, as I'm making this video, are burying their dead in Pakistan after the umpteenth suicide bombing. Because remember, they too are Muslims, and those burials are being executed according to Islamic rites. So let's just ridicule them on every occasion that we can muster, because we have to defend our sacred freedom of speech. Shall we?